And now, time slips and temporal anomalies. These are actual reported cases of people who've supposedly slipped through time, sometimes to the past, sometimes to the future, but always only for a very short while. And in some cases, it seems forever. A man who only gave his name as John told the Mojave Daily News that he was driving home from Las Vegas with his wife in 2003 when he saw something strange on the side of the road. It looked like an old truck, but it was surrounded by what appeared to be modern-day construction equipment. As he got closer, he realized the truck was from the 1950s. The workers were dressed in clothing from the same era. He stopped and asked if everything was okay, and they said, "Yeah, we're just taking a break from digging the canal." The workers had apparently been eating lunch in shifts so they could keep working around the clock. The whole thing was very strange, but John assumed that they were just some kind of time-traveling enthusiasts. In 2018, John and his wife were driving through the same area, and they decided to stop and see how the construction was coming along. But the strange thing was, there was no sign of any construction at all. And when he called the local newspaper to ask about it, they told him that the construction had been completed years ago. John and his wife then realized that they had somehow traveled back in time and ended up visiting the past. There are literally hundreds of stories like this, though this one is probably the most well documented. And there are even more stories of people who seemingly travel to the future. One of the most famous cases was that of a man named Frank, who was hiking with his friend Tony in the 1980s when he disappeared. His friend reported that as they were walking along a trail in the woods, Frank suddenly veered off course and walked into a creek. When Tony went to help him, he found that Frank was gone, and neither he nor his body has ever been seen since. Though the story might sound unbelievable, there are actually quite a few similar stories of people disappearing while hiking only to turn up years later, unharmed and with no memory of the missing time. Now, obviously, these stories are strange, but they're also potentially dangerous. After all, if you're hiking and your friend suddenly disappears only to reappear years later, you might think that you're going crazy. So if you want to learn more about temporal anomalies, I suggest you start by checking out this playlist. All the stories in this series are allegedly true, but just because something is allegedly true doesn't mean that it is true. We should always be skeptical of extraordinary claims, and extraordinary evidence is needed to support them. If you would like to submit a story, please follow the link below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe and leave a like. Thanks again, and take care.